Hey guys, hope you're having a great sunny, although cold Tuesday. I am back again with another live video. Said I was going to do more this year again, so here I am. I am Ashley Nate. I'm a realtor in central Iowa in the Des Moines area, living in Indianola, and I go live occasionally to talk about relevant real estate topics. And so today I just want to briefly talk about really quick, since we're still kind of at the beginning of the year, what the state of the market is right now and what the expectations are for the 2025 housing market, in terms of what our rates going to do, what our home prices going to do, and kind of what we're seeing right now in terms of days on the market, or in other words, how long homes are taking to sell. So that's what we're going to talk about, just kind of real briefly taking a look at those three things, so that if you're thinking about buying or selling this year, that you can kind of go into that with an informed mindset, right? All right, so let's start with mortgage rates. Now, mortgage rates. Originally, if you would have asked maybe a few months ago, it was anticipated that, mortgage rates, back in the fall, things were looking good. Mortgage rates were dropping. There was a lot of positivity that they were going to continue to come down, and then they kind of went back up again. And expectations have kind of just like went all over the place since then. And so mortgage rates, unfortunately, are not anticipated to go down a ton, although it is expected that they should drop a little. So still a little bit of good news. But if you're expecting that big drop from, we're in kind of like mid sixes to seven now, and if you're expecting a big drop to low fives or fours, that's just probably not going to happen this year, if I'm being honest with you. So the trajectory of interest rates it's really going to depend on, and it does depend on economic data and inflation numbers as they come out. And so what we expect to see is that the overall trend should be down with rates, but it might be kind of there's a little bit of a drop. Oh, they're up a little bit. Oh, now they're dropping again. It's going to be a little bit more of a roller coaster trajectory downward versus just a straight decline. And again, it's probably not going to be like a big drop, but we should hopefully feel a little bit of relief. But it's good information for you to know, although it's not the most happy news, because I know we would all love for rates to drop back down to the threes, right? But it's also important information to know, because if you're waiting around forever for rates to see that really, really big drop while you're renting, or you're in a house that just doesn't meet your needs anymore, you're probably going to be waiting for a long time. And in the meanwhile, home prices aren't supposed to drop during that time, which brings me to the next thing, home prices. So home prices are anticipated to continue to go up, but a lot more at a lot more moderate rate than they had say 3 years ago. So the expectation nationally is about 3% increase in home prices this year, whereas if we went back a couple years ago, we were seeing double-digit increases in home appreciation a few years in a row, which was nuts. So it's expected that they're still going to go up, but just not at as fast of a pace. And so some people are wondering, why is this still happening? Why are home prices not dropping? And the reason is just simply supply and demand. Inventory is still really low, so we have low supply, and there's still big demand for owning a home. So we still have that demand. So that's just a recipe economically for keeping prices where they are. And so that being said, that kind of brings me to days on market. So even though home prices aren't dropping in the market, if I were to kind of say today, or like in the past month, or this winter has slowed down a little bit. The demand has fallen a little bit just because of those affordability issues and time of year, with it being the winter, that buyers had a lot more leverage, and it was kind of shifting over to a buyer market. Even though we still have that really low supply, sales had kind of slowed a little bit, and things sat on the market a little bit longer. So for days days on the market, right now they're taking homes about like a month to a month and a half to sell. The data in the last 7 days, so in Des Moines in the last 7 days, it took 52 days on average for the resales to sell, 35 days on average for the sales in Indianola in the past 7 days. So we're seeing like that month and a half, it's slowed down a little bit. But keep in mind, I've noticed a lot of uptick in traction and people are reaching out again. The weather's nice. People are excited to start getting back out there again. They're realizing that, as I talked about earlier, rates aren't probably going to drop very much throughout this year. So at the end of the day, there comes a point where it's time to stop waiting and start problem solving to figure out how you can get into a home. And buyers do have some leverage right now, but I think it's going to start pressing back into that seller's market again as the weather gets nicer and more people start getting out there again. You're going to see that competition kind of start to flip back to a seller's market once again. But in summary, mortgage rates, they're going to hopefully come down a little bit, but probably not anything super crazy. Home prices are expected to continue to go up, just at a slower pace, probably around that 3%, give or take, depending on the area and location. And then days on market, again, right now, it's like about a month and a half. That might come down a little bit as we hit that spring market, but it is much longer than 3 years ago when people would list their home and it would sell in 2 days. So that, I think people are finally kind of letting go of that expectation, but it took a long time for sellers to realize that that is just not what we're seeing right now. And that's okay. That's normal. It's not normal for a house to sell in 2 days. It's totally normal for it to take a month and a half. But obviously, pricing well and good marketing, as a seller, we hope to try to get your house sold as quick as possible and negotiate well with the buyers. So all that to say, all these data points to me just point to kind of the age-old truth that time in the market is more important than timing the market. So what do I mean by that? I mean that you should focus your buying and selling decisions on when it makes sense for you financially and in your life situation, rather than waiting for the perfect market, especially since rates aren't supposed to drop very much this year anyways. If you're waiting around to go from a 6.6 to a 6.2 rate, sure, that might save you a little bit of money, but you might have missed out on the home that you really wanted. Or in that period of time, demand shifts, and now you end up paying a higher price for that home. So even though you got the lower rate, all that benefit was washed away. So it really isn't that simple to, oh, I'm just going to wait for this perfect market. Really, the best strategy for you is to determine what your goals are and then work with a realtor and a lender who can help match that to a home and get you there, to figure out what you feel comfortable with for your monthly payment. And then we'll backtrack to what price point you can be looking at, possibly considering, strategies like rate buydowns or down payment programs if needed, and just having a realtor that will kind of negotiate for you in the market that we're in to get you to meet your goals in any market, rather than waiting for the perceived perfect market, if that makes sense. And I would love to be the one to help you do that. So, because at the end of the day, the longer that you own, the greater the benefit, regardless of any short-term fluctuations of what's going on in the market currently. So, there's your market update. That's what to expect in 2025, and that's kind of a little snapshot of what we're seeing right now. If you have any questions, you're always welcome to reach out to me. I always love having conversations. Never feel scared to ask questions if you're just kind of curious of what you might be able to afford, about the buying and selling process when those are paired together. If you're kind of thinking about it, don't be afraid to reach out sooner rather than later. I will not push you into anything. I would just here to answer your questions so that you can kind of figure out your timeline and make informed decisions from there whenever the time comes for you. But with that being said, I hope you guys all have a great Tuesday, and I will likely see you again in about a week. Bye, guys.